Okay, maybe we'll stand for a short prayer, please, together. Look towards the east. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God, Amen. Remember, O Lord, our assemblies, bless them. Grant, O Lord, that they may be unto us without obstacle or hindrance, that we may do according to your holy and blessed will. Houses of prayer, houses of blessing, houses of purity. Grant, O Lord, for us and for your servants who come after us forever. Arise, O Lord God, let all your enemies be scattered. As for your people, let them be in blessing, thousandfold, and 10,000fold, doing your will by the grace, compassion, and love of mankind. Dear and heavenly Lord Jesus, we praise you, we honor you, and we thank you for your kindness, for your love, for always offering us, Lord, your best. We thank you because you are a true Father who cares, sacrifices. First and foremost, Lord, giving us eternal life in your name. Bless all my dear children who are present here tonight, and give us, Lord, a night of an evening of joy, of celebration, of learning and knowledge, and most importantly, spiritual growth and fellowship in your name. We pray for our speaker tonight, Susan, and we pray, Lord, for everyone who's here, those who are still on their way. This we pray in your holy and precious name, intercession of Saint Mary, prayers of Saint Maurice and Verena, everyone who's present with us. Hear us, dear Lord, as we pray with all thanksgiving together. Our Father, who art in heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptations, but deliver us from the evil one. In Christ Jesus our Lord, for thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Sarah, I'd like to introduce you. Yeah, everyone just comes in. They heard your voice. They can't hear. Sarah's. Where did Sarah go? Where's Sarah? Sarah. I'm blind. That night, or with you, that night, is it going to be cutting it short?
It's the first quarter. Hey everybody, welcome back for session 4 of our 6-week series. I'm very sad that it's coming to an end soon. So I just wanted to introduce our speaker today. She is probably the most interactive of all of our speakers. I personally have the most fun at this session. I learn a lot about myself. This is my 3rd time going through this, and I learn a lot about myself every single time. So I'm all for this one. This is like my #1 recommendation for everybody. I don't want to take away too much of her time because I don't really need to introduce her because she'll speak for herself and you'll see what a fantastic session this is. But this is Suzanne. Essentially what she's going to do is she's going to run through something called True Colors, and stay tuned because you are going to learn a lot about yourself and the people around you. And every single time we've done this session, people are talking about the colors for weeks after. So I will let her get to it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, so I have 3 things in my hand, so we'll see how I do. If I put something down and lose it, just let me know, okay? So here we are. Hi, so I'm Suzanne, and this is like, I don't know, my 3rd or 4th time doing it. I have my own consulting company. I am a trainer. That's what I do. It's my job. It's also my passion. I love this. I've done True Colors or personality dimensions, as well as Myers-Briggs in large organizations. One of my big clients is TJX, which is Winners Home Sense and Marshalls. I've also done a lot of work in the Ontario government, and I've done it in other sort of sectors. I often do the True Colors for teams. I do it for personal development. I did it once with a group of commerce students at U of T, which is very interesting because one of them came up to me at the end and said, I think I'm the wrong color for an accountant. And I went, don't tell your mother and father. They're in fourth year commerce. I'm like, oh, okay, we'll figure it. So please don't change whatever you're doing because of this. And please don't think that you've got to have a right type or wrong type. So what we're going to learn is there's no right types and wrong types. There's all kinds of different types. So it's important to understand that. So we're going to have an introduction to personality dimensions. It is also true colors. I'll explain that in a minute. Personality dimensions is the Canadian version. We're going to have a little assessment. One person got very excited because I'm giving them a test. It is not a difficult test. It will probably take 5 or 10 minutes. Don't cheat on it because there's no point in cheating on it because it's just about you. And you're the, so we'll do the test. Then we're going to do some exercises, and I will move you around. So those of you who are unfortunately sitting at the front may get to sit at the back, and those at the back, I may move you to the front, but we're going to move everyone around. You're going to do some exercises, and then we'll do a little learning about all the colors afterwards. I'm also going to pop in a little bit about introversion and extroversion, because that's a big one in relationships. Take it from an extrovert who's married to an introvert. Huge, huge one, that one. So there you go. And at the end, if we have time, and we're a big group, so we'll see how we do. At the end, we'll have a couple slides on building relationships with colors. I will also send you the slides. I'll send them to Sarah, so you can have the slides as well. So don't worry if you're taking notes or whatever. Okay, here we go. So personality dimensions. Where did it come from? This is something people have been interested in years about different types of personalities. It goes back to Hippocrates. People know who Hippocrates is? He's the Hippocratic Oath. If anybody's a doctor, he's one of the famous doctors, a Greek physician. He sorted people into 4 types. He said there's 4 types of people in the world. He sorted them based on their bodily fluids. He's a doctor, right? So he had phlegmatic, melancholic, sanguine, and choleric. I'm not going to go into the details. If anyone's a doctor, you can talk to them about it. Many, many hundreds of thousands of years later, we had Carl Jung. Has people heard of Carl Jung, famous Swiss psychiatrist? He divided people into 4 basic types. He was a little more scientific about it. He said people do what they do based on different things. One type of person's intellect, one's body, one's intuition, and one's feeling. Move it a little bit forward, and we have the Myers-Briggs mother and daughter team. Has anybody done their MBTI, Myers-Briggs? It's like ENFP, it's 4 letters, right? So they did that, and they came out with that in about the 50s or 60s. That is a great, great assessment. I do that as well. I recommend it to individuals or small groups. For a big group like this, you will never remember. People have a hard time remembering their own 4 letters, let alone everybody else's. But it is a good one. Then in the 1960s, Don Lowry, a Californian teacher, said, I want to do some way of sorting out people. It's simpler than Myers-Briggs for teachers to use to sort of think about how their students are different. So he came up with true colors. He said there's 4 types of people, and he named them by colors: green, gold, orange, and blue. I certified in true colors probably about 10 years ago. The American version of true colors got very expensive. The Canadians said, we don't want to do that. So they came up with their own thing. It's called personality dimensions. You'll see the colors are the same. We have slightly, because you can't trademark colors. So we have inquiring green, organized gold, resourceful orange, and authentic blue. So if you've done true colors, the colors are the same. But this is the Canadian version, okay? So it's personality dimensions. Important basics. Everybody is a blend. This is not to put you in a box, although we will be doing exercises tonight with certain colors. Don't think that you're in a box, because everybody's a blend of the 4. And at some point in your life, you may pick up your lowest color and be that way. You may have to do it in certain circumstances. Our preferred colors are where we are happiest. There's colors. There's the 4 types of colors. All colors are equally good. All have strengths and all have weaknesses. And you need all of them. When I said I do this with teams, it's really interesting when I do it with teams, because it's good to have a mix in a team. It's good to have somebody of every different color, because you have that diversity of skills and strengths. So it's really important to understand that everybody has strengths and weaknesses. All colors are good. And I want you all to agree there will be no color bashing now or in the next couple of weeks. All right, everyone put your hand up. Father Peshoy is watching. We all agree, no color bashing, all right? Because that's important, because people get, ooh, you orange, da, da, da. So don't do that. Remember, we're all plaid. So you might be orange, blue, green, gold, and your friend might be orange, blue, green, gold, and you may think, oh, I'm nothing like them. And it may be that they have way more orange than you do. So if you think about a kilt might have the same colors in it, but they look different because some of them have more blue, some have more green, and that's how you are as well. So remember, we're a mix. So I'm not going to try and put you in a box. And remember as well, it's a tool. It's simply a tool. Don't use it all the time. When you think about a tool, if you're going to put a screw in the wall, you get the screwdriver out, you use the tool, you put the screw. If you don't have that and you have a hammer, you're using the wrong tool with the screwdriver, it doesn't work. So don't bang people over the head with their colors. Remember, it's just a tool, and there's a ton of tools. There's things that have to do with, the other one I've done with your marriage classes is the love languages. That's another one. It's another different way of looking at how people are and how we're different. So this is just one way of looking at how people are different. So now we're going to do a little introduction to the colors. And I'm going to ask you, and please remember you're a large group, so I'm going to ask you to put up your hand. I want you to look at the pictures and tell me, what do you see? Put your hand up. What do you see? Be brave. Yeah. What do you see? Owl, yeah. What else? The big guy? The big eye. Yeah, the big eye. Yeah. Exploration? What else do you see in that picture? Yeah? There's sort of a museum here. A museum or a university building. Yeah, museum, university building. And two people? Yeah. Another big eye. What else? What are they doing? They're looking. They're searching. Yeah. All right. Looking. You said looking. Okay. What else do you see? What do these people look like? Scientists. So this is green. Green are the explorers. All right. So when we get to the colors, remember the green. Here's the gold. What do we see? A balance. Great. A balance. Yeah. Organization. Yeah. What do you see? No? A checklist. Huge checklist, people. A bit perfectionist. Yeah. What else do you see? Yeah. An office. Yeah, an office. What about these people? Do they look different from the other people? Yeah. Sorry? One is what?
Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway. Oh my goodness, no. We can't afford Anne Hathaway. I'm sure that's no, that's not Anne Hathaway. Sorry.
They have something to work
They're,
to do.
they're working. They look like lawyers. They look like business people, right? They're dressed very formally. They've got their what else do you see? What kind of animal do you see? A dog. So we saw an owl and we saw a dog. What kind of dog do we see? A golden retriever. And what is a golden retriever? It's your loyal family dog, right? There's the golden retriever. Anything else that you notice on that one? There's a picture of a family. Okay, family, very important to the goals. Okay, blue. What do we see with blue? What are they doing? Art, meditation, painting, music, cinema and arts and theater, yeah. What are these people doing? How do they look compared to the scientists and the lawyers? They're connecting. There's more conversation going. Everybody else was sort of on their own In this group, there's more talking. They're talking to each other, right? These are the communicators. Okay? Here we go, orange. What do we see with orange? Sorry? Well, there's gambling, yes. There's gambling with the orange. Risk-taking. We're going to say risk-taking. What else? Balls. There's balls, sports. And there's a musical instrument. What's the woman look like? Does this woman look like a lawyer? No, she looks like she's up to something, right? She's having fun, that lady. This guy here, you can't see this guy here, is coming down out of a helicopter. He's an emergency rescue man coming out of a helicopter. Up at the top, we have a hot air balloon. These are the orange. These are the energetic, go-to-it kind of people. All right? So those are the colors. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do an assessment. I am going to hope the slide comes up. All right, and I'm going to get my helpers to help me with the assessments. There are pens around. There are, one for each person. There are pens. So does anybody not have a pen? You need a pen. Okay, so there are some pens. Have you got a pen? Yeah. So if you don't have a pen, you're going to need a pen, guys. You need a pen. You need a pen. Oh, ladies, I thought you'd have pens. There you go. Hold on. Oh, the whole table back there? Okay, hold on. You each need a pen because for the sake of time, I want everybody to try and do these at the same time. Are there any spare pens? All right. I'm going to give you guys my shiny good ones. There you go. Thank you. All right, so can I have your attention? I'm going to explain this assessment to you. And I'll explain it once and then we'll float around and help you with this. Okay. What you want to do is you want to read the list of words across. So when you look across, you're going to say, what is most like me? Am I nice, helpful? I like friends? Am I organized? Do I plan? What do I look at? What's next? Am I about learning, science, or privacy? Am I active? Do I like variety in sports? So when you look at those 4 across the top here, you rank them. 4 is most like you. So if you look at this in this example, the person that did this said, you know what? I love learning. I'm all about science. I'm going to give it a 4. My next thing is that I really am helpful and I like having friends. So that's 3. I'm okay organized. I'm 2, but I'm really not active. I hate sports. I'm a 1. So you're going to score it across the top, and then you're going to add down to here. So start, and I'll walk around and help you figure it out. Oh.
Like I see this is belong to number 3, then I put, right?
Say it again.
I will see this
No,
is
no, no.
number 3.
No, so what you do, no, that's just someone else's. So basically, okay, so see this one? This
What I want to know is, everybody, can I have your attention? Can I have the golds, everybody who is gold, straight gold, not a tie, please put your hand up, you're a gold. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so what I'm going to do in a minute is I'm going to put the golds, you're going to come to this table and this table in a minute, not yet, all right? So when you're, the 2 golds, you're going to spread across these 2 tables. Can I see the blues? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so the blues, I'm going to put you at these 3 tables, 1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter which table. Just go to one of these 3 tables. Where are the orange? Yeah. Where am I orange? I gotta have more than one orange. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the orange, I'm gonna put you right here where I can keep an eye on you. Okay, is everybody else green? Can I see the greens? All right, green, you can go at this table. All right, so this is an orange table. Yeah, those 2 are gold, these 3 are blue. All right, everybody, you're gonna move for a good 20 minutes, so pick your stuff up and move to the tables. Green is right there. So blue is 1, 2, 3 here. There's 3 blues. I just did extra colors. So okay, these 2 ladies just walked in. I've got them. But they might want to move to the back. That's all. That's fine. I don't think we have. I just didn't know how many we had. What? Yeah. The green is there. What am I doing for time? Oh, cool. Yes? What are you tied at?
Blue and green. No, sorry, yeah, blue and the learning one.
And green?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to put you with the greens.
Yeah?
And
Okay.
what were you? You were green. No, you're orange.
I am green and orange.
Green and orange. I'm going to leave you with orange. I'm going to leave you with orange because there's not a lot of orange.
Orange is middle.
And you said blue-green, right? There's not a lot of green. There's a lot of blue. So I'm going to put you with... Oh, there's lots of people getting tied. My one friend was saying, oh, no. And this is a very simplified test. There's a much complicated one that you pay a lot of money for. This is very simplified. And you know what? If, when you're sitting with this group, you're thinking, these people aren't me, then move to blue. You might. It happens. How is that cheating? All right.
But you copied. That's cheating. That's plagiarism.
Oh, you've got her. Okay, I'm going to leave you guys here. I'm going to take this away from you.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Definitely see that.
Oh, you're also green?
No, I'm orange. That, orange is tall.
Living life.
I'm an engineer.
Oh, where is it?
So annoying.
Are you? Hey. Hello. Hi. Excuse me. What's your name?
Kareem.
Kareem.
Nice to meet you guys. Nice to meet you. John. John, nice to meet you.
Are you an engineer?
Close. I'm in finance.
Okay.
Lots of math.
Okay.
You should be a gold. Lots of math. Is that why we're No, all no, here? no.
Engineers.
Engineers. Okay.
The hands-on part. That's why we're all here.
Literally, I saw quick, winning, and exciting. That's me.
I might be in the wrong group, but I don't know.
Me too.
Are you like a hardcore orange, or you go second, or which one? Oh no, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, you're good. I'm like,
Yeah.
Did you guys get straight orange?
no, they got close.
I'm close though.
Apparently, I'm extra. Yeah, apparently I'm a crazy extrovert. I'm just out.
You're blue, you're over there. Okay, everybody. Yeah, any one of those tables. Any one of the 4. I'm just going to put this down for a second. Okay, everybody. All right, I'm going to ask. Oh, my goodness, what are you doing? No. No, because it's better if you're in smaller groups.
Oh, you want smaller groups?
Yeah, because you all have to agree. And if I have a big group of blue, you'll all talk to each other and you'll love each other and you won't get it done. I'm sorry. Blues always like to be everybody together. And afterwards you get your blue. But for now, I'm going to ask you to work separately, okay? All right. I know. Okay. All right. Now, here are the instructions. You're all going to have a piece of flip chart paper. You have 1 pen on your table. I want you as a group to discuss these 3 questions. What brings you joy? Everybody at the table, and this is another reason why we don't have huge tables, everybody at the table has to agree before you write it down. All right, so if I say doing mathematics brings me joy and nobody else agrees, we don't write it down. Everybody has to agree, okay? 2, what are your strengths? You can write down as many things as you want, but I'm only giving you 10 minutes to do this. And I would like you as a group to come up with a song, a quote, a saying, an acronym that represents your color. What are you like? All right? So I'm going to give you about 10 minutes to do this. All right? And you write your answers out on the flip chart paper, and afterwards, somebody in your group is going to stand up and present it. All right? I'm taking this. This off. We're almost all done. The over-analytical greens are still thinking. So, okay. We're going to start. What I'm going to ask is, on this one, I'm going to ask you to treat each other with respect and listen, because if somebody gets up and speaks in a group like this, it's not an easy thing to do. For some of us, it's easier than others, but it is not often an easy thing to do. So I'm going to walk over to each group, I'm going to hand somebody the mic, and they're going to tell you their answers. Please listen to them respectfully, okay? All right, we're going to start with, I think I start with the green. Hold on. I'm going to start with the greens. All right. I will hold it up. Who wants to talk? You can talk. All right.
So, what brings us joy is solving a problem, or learning something new, or overcoming a challenge. Yeah. We believe our strengths is critical thinking, analytical thinking, and being persistent until we solve the problem. Our quote that best describes our color, why?
Can you pass it to the green? Oh, sorry, you made the back?
Oh, we're also going in?
Okay, green group number 2 have a very extensive list, so this may take a while. Green group number 2.
Oh,
No pressure, no pressure.
okay.
I'll hold it up.
So we might be here all day, but
Here's green number 2.
okay. So we did it Maria Kondo style. So what sparks joy for us? Food, success, making a checklist, exploring new things, feeding our curiosity, competition. That's gonna come up in different ways later. Being well informed. What is our strength? Standing up for our beliefs, hardworking, being inquisitive, being witty, maintaining a calm demeanor in stressful situations, being self-aware, debating multifaceted issues.
Big list.
Yeah. What is our song? Remember the Name.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to talk you through green. These were actually, I have to say, a very well-rounded representative group of green. Sometimes I get different groups of green and you get other colors mixed in, but this was a very good group of green. So let me just get my colors. Here we go. Green are called the inquiring green. Inquiring. Did somebody say inquiring? Inquisitive, they said. Inquiring, inquisitive. Inquiring green. The color green is chosen, and it's good for you to remember this, because green represents growth, new birth, development, growing. They're all about learning, growing, and developing. That's what the green is. Their core needs are knowledge and competence. They want to know things. They want to be good at things. It's very important, more than any other color. We all like to be good at things, but for them it's really important. And if they're good at something, they're really good at it. If they're not interested in something, they're usually not interested and they can't be bothered and they're not good at it. So what they're really good at, right? Okay. Yeah, they're all shaking their head at me. Yeah. Okay. They value logic, clarity, progress, scientific inquiry, intelligence, facts, and data. Show them the numbers, show them the facts, show them the data. They want to see it, hear it, feel it, touch it. They really want to make sure it's there. They analyze the data. They tend to be lawyers, IT, engineers, because they like to have all the data, the numbers in front of them. Oh yeah, no, the orange will get you. Okay. Their key stressor, just so you know, if you're in a relationship with a green, the key stressor is not knowing or being incompetent at something. So sometimes they get backed into a corner and somebody says, okay, well, what's the answer to this? And they can get stressed because they haven't analyzed it enough, they haven't researched it, they're not sure. And they don't want to tell you they're not sure. They don't want to be seen as not knowing. So that's really important. Some other colors are okay with not knowing and not being smart, not being good at something. Their abilities, They're logical, they're impartial. They're impartial. And I said, lawyers, they can argue both sides. Lawyers can argue both sides. It's a really interesting thing. They're complex thinkers. They will see a system. They'll go this, and then we do this, then we do this, and that'll have that, and this, that, and that. And usually they're introverted, so all this goes on in their head. You have no idea what they're thinking. It's going on, and then they come out with this complex thought. So that's what they are, the analytical. They look forward. They're forward focused. Remember the picture of the greens? The scientists looking out into space, looking off into the distance. They see possibilities. They're explorers. They're also perfectionists. Did we have perfectionists, or was that another group? Perfectionists. They're impatient with incompetence. So what can happen is if you work with a green or if you're in a relationship with a green, they get a little impatient or frustrated with people who they don't think are quite as smart as them, or somebody who's like, they're not getting it. Come on, can't you get that? So they could be a bit like that. They like a debate. They will debate, and they will debate both sides of the argument. And they love a debate. And I will tell you this, and I promised my husband I wouldn't tell any stories about him, but this is technically not about him. It's about people in his family. So when I first met my husband and his family, we were driving somewhere, and two of his family members were in the back seat. And I was sitting in the front, and they were having what I thought was a disagreement. And I was like, ooh, they're disagreeing, and I didn't want to butt in. I'm in the front, and I'm like, I can hear them, and I hear them. And we get out of the car, and we're walking away, and I said to my husband, oh, they were arguing about that. He goes, oh, no, they were just debating. They're fine. They were just debating, and that's what they do. They're green. They like to debate. You say blue, they say green. Let's have a debate, all right? I have a friend, she's actually a doctor, and there's two of them. They're both doctors, and the one friend said, you used to call me in high school and say, let's debate this issue. And that's what they did. They enjoyed debating. Witty. Who said witty? Witty. They are witty. They're very funny. They're a quick wit. They're a smart humor. They're usually a smart humor. They tend to be introverted. So if you don't get it right away, sometimes you have to listen, and then you pick it up. So that's the greens. Now, the thing about the greens, in relationships, so they do have feelings. People think, oh, the greens don't have feelings. They do have feelings. They feel very deep. No. They do. They do. They do have feelings. They're just really deep down sometimes. And they like to actually be more logical about something than to actually say, oh, I love this, I'm going to do this. They want to think it through, the pros and cons, and analyze it. They like to think things through. And for anybody who's in a relationship with a green, and you're all, especially the blues, we're good to go, I'm in love, it's great, we're moving along, and the green person's back there, they're still thinking about it. It's a tough one to sort of analyze love. It's not really there. So they're usually a little slower behind. They're very logical. So if they tell you they love you, they've told you they love you, you know they love you, they don't have to keep telling you they love you. So when a blue and green are married, and a blue likes to be told they're loved, I love you, we love you, you don't love you, and the end of the text messages and phone calls, love you, bye, love you, you won't get that from a green. No. And that's okay. They do love you. They're just not going to put it in the text or the email. It's okay. So no, I'm looking at the blues. The rest of you should you guys don't care. But the rest of you, fine. And they're not natural romantics. But if you tell them you need romance, they'll figure it out and they'll give you romance. So there you go. That's the greens. Thank you, greens. All right, gold. Where's my golds? Over there. You want to applaud for the greens? All right, these are my golds. So my golds said to me, how much time should we allocate to each question? And I said, it's 10 minutes. And one of them said, oh, that's 3.5 minutes. It's 3.5 minutes per question. I said, yeah, but the last one might take more, so they analyzed. Very gold, very about time. Okay, who's going to talk?
So we're,
They numbered them.
So the first one is what brings us joy. We said harmony, loyalty, personal growth, and being helpful. This are strengths, Is that correct? Okay. So our strengths are logical thinking, organization, reliable, and conscientiousness. And our quote was a place for everything and everything in its place. And the alternative was lean on me.
I like that. A place for everything and everything in its place. Love that. Okay, here we go. Gold group number 2. Now, this will be interesting, and I'm only saying this, I'm only pointing it out in case you know, I'm not for no other reason, except we have a lot of women over here, and we have more men over here. So men and women feel things differently, so we'll see what difference we get. There you go.
That's okay, I can see it from here. So for question number 1, what brings us joy? We said success. Finishing a to-do list versus doing a to-do list, we actually finish it. Friendships bring us joy, being helpful, give advice, and when people actually follow through the advice, and service. So these are the things that we feel that bring us joy. For things that we are good at, we were outgoing, motivated, being active or like working out or doing something on the active side. We're independent, and we're dependent and reliable. The quote, it's Psalm 22, even though I walk through the valley of death, I shall fear no evil, for you are with me. That was it. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I joked about having men in one group and women in the other group. There were some slight differences. The other thing is your second colors. So some of you may have thought, oh, that's not me, but sometimes your second colors come out. I would guess a lot of people's second colors were blue. Yeah, see, they're all nodding head. There's a lot of blue, so the blues might have heard some overlap with what you talked about, because I think a lot of them were gold blues. Right? Yeah. Okay, good. All right, so let's talk about the golds. Gold, the color gold was chosen because gold represents, it's solid, it's dependable, it's heavy, it's weighted, it's valuable. It's valuable. And so that's the thing about gold, and it didn't come up, maybe just because of the group, but often money is something that brings some joy as well. So cornites, it does. In some groups, I get money. So cornites, belonging, responsibility, and duty. I think I heard responsible was one of the words there. Duty, responsibility, and belonging, very important to the goals. It's important to most people, but to the goals especially. And you see that in a lot of what they talked about. Their values, home and family. So you remember the picture there? The picture there were the ones with the family. I would say 99% people value their family, love their family, but the goal is it's really about the family. So if you go, I've done this True Colors with a group of salespeople, and one of the things I always say, if you go into somebody's office and they've got pictures of their family, they're usually gold. They could be blue as well, but that they're all about family and society and belonging and their community. So they're the ones who really want to look after the community. They tend to be volunteers. They tend to be of service. Somebody said about being of service to others. That's what brings them joy, if they've been of service to somebody else and helped somebody else, and belonging to the community. Relationships, trust is huge with gold, trust. If they trust you to do something, do it for them, because once you break their trust, it's gone. So you really need to trust them. A key stressor is being disorganized. What was it? A place for everything and everything in their place. They can't think if things are disorganized. So if you see somebody, I work with a woman, and I keep telling her she's gold. She doesn't believe me, but I walk into her office, all her Post-it notes are in color order, right? Size and color. And I'm like, really? But that's how she thinks. Every morning she comes in and organizes her desk so she can think. It clears things for her. They also don't like being on the outside. So they like to be invited. I have a friend who's a gold. He's a dear friend. He's very organized. He wishes everybody happy birthday. He remembers all our anniversaries. He does all that. But every once in a while we do something, and I know it's not his thing. So I don't invite him. And then he says to me, you didn't invite me. And I said, but you don't like this thing. And he says, but you could have invited me. He doesn't want to be left out. So always invite the golds. If you've got a gold friend, just make sure you invite them. Don't leave them out, all right? They are the largest percentage of the population in Canada. 33% of the population is gold, so there. They are planning an organization. They like to set up procedures. They like to make decisions. So the green can think about something for days and days. I'm thinking about it. I want to analyze it. I got a little bit more research to do, blah, blah, blah. The gold, let's just make a decision to move on. So if you're in a meeting, in a big meeting at work, and somebody says, okay, 10 o'clock, we're done, let's go. The green are like, well, we didn't get all the information. We can't make an informed decision. Let's just make a decision. They like to make a decision. They like structured detail, very detailed. They love their lists. They like lists of lists. I said to somebody, said to me, they love lists. I said, what if you do something that's not on your list? They write it on their list and they cross it out. Yeah, do you do that? Do you do it? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I did that. It's on my list. They're the ones that walk around the grocery store with the list by aisle. They probably know this is the meat aisle. Okay, this is my list, and they're doing that, and they're crossing it off. Great sense of achievement at the end of the day. There are other colors that think, I write a list, I forget it at home, lists. And I will say this, when it's Christmas time, or if there's a special event and you need to get a certain item, ask a gold. They will have all the flyers. They will know where all the deals are. They are really good with bargaining, with bargains, with money. These are your people, all right? They're there. They're also very black and white. The green, very gray. They can go this way or that way. Very black and white and strong in their beliefs. And the interesting thing I will say for you on this one is I have a friend who's gold, who shall remain nameless because he's in this church. And he's gold. And he's gold in every way except he's always late. And I've known him since we were kids, right? And it is. And it's a society thing. And I never got it. I married into the church. I married a nice Egyptian man. And the first time we went to a wedding, a family wedding, the wedding invitation said 3 o'clock. We got there at 10 to 3. I walked in the church, and there was no one there. Where is everybody? And my sister-in-law comes, she goes, oh, no, they say 3, but they want you there by 3:30, you know? So that's a cultural thing. So no. What?
Was the church decorated or no?
Yeah, church. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll tell you, I was getting married. I got married at St. Mark's. I walked in the church. Father Marcus goes, oh, good, you're on time. I'm like, of course I'm on time. It's my wedding. I have since learned about the timing. That's just, so you know, that's a cultural thing. They're all cultural differences. So, but yes, I knew as soon as I said it, you'd all get it. All right, relationships. So the goals, like I said, they're all about anniversaries. They will remember your birthday. They will celebrate 1 month of dating, 2 months of dating. Here's our, like I have a friend who's gold. He remembers their first date. He remembers all these things. My green husband, no, he's good. He remembers my anniversary. He does. They want someone who's going to work together with them. We're going to work together on a future. This is what they're looking for. They're practical. They are about right and wrong. So that's a tough one if you're a different color, especially if you're a green or an orange, and they're very strong and they're right or wrong. You're like, so that can be one of those things, but it's how they are. So there we are, the golds. Orange. Here are my guys. Now, I will say there tend to be more orange men than women. And here they are.
All right, because you guys are not tired of hearing my voice every day. All right, so it brings us joys: outdoors, sports, traveling, adventure. And our strengths are energetic, with our coffee, perseverance, logical, problem solvers, adaptive, and active. And our quotes, we have 2 actually. Life ain't about how hard you can hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. And the second one is, why do we fall? So we can learn to pick ourselves back up.
Thank you. So we have a small group of orange here. I think orange is about 21% of the population. They do tend to be more male than female, although there are a lot of orange females. The color orange was chosen because it's vibrant, it's energetic, it's active, it's a go, go, go color. It's, you know, when I get the quotes, usually the orange quote, one of the orange quotes I get often is Nike, just do it. It's, you know, because that's what they're, let's just do it, let's just do it. They are about, their core need is freedom. This is really, really important to them. Don't box them in, don't give them a lot of rules, don't expect them to, you know, do all these things. So often they're the ones, when I do team building, that the other colors struggle with the orange. But I will say this about the orange, they will get it done. Just let them do it their own way, and they'll get it done. Yeah, so there they are. So they're orange, they're resourceful. They are resourceful as well. And all the color bashing that happens, usually it's the orange that get bashed. So I'm going to stick up for you, because the orange, you want them in an emergency. Because in an emergency, when something goes wrong, and people are trying to get the procedures, the golds are getting out their list of procedures, and the green are thinking about it, and the blue are like, are we all okay? The orange, the orange will be leading you out. Come on, guys, go, go, go. These are the guys you want in an emergency, right?
That's literally my job.
What's your job?
Basically my job. Get it done.
Get it done. They are. Yeah, a lot of firemen. There's a lot of firemen that are orange. Okay. So they value action, variety, skill and performance. There's a lot of actors who are orange. There's a lot of athletes who are orange. They're all about the here and now. Here and now. I don't care what happened in the past. I'm not thinking about the future. It's here, now, move on. All right, so the gold tend to be more traditional. They tend to be, well, this is the way we've always done it. Every year we do it this way. This is the way we've done it. The green are focusing on different ways to do it next year. The blues, we're discussing it. And the, and the orange are like, let's just get it done and move on. All right? And I'll say this about the orange, they don't hold a grudge. They've moved on. So if you think, oh, I've upset the orange person, and not often the blue, they, oh, no, I said something, the orange person's not going to be happy with it. They don't care. They moved on. They've just moved on. They move on. They're about moving on. They're about moving forward, expediency. They also like to have control over their own stuff, right? They don't want you telling them lists and giving them, they're under control. They don't like rigid boundaries, and waiting, key, waiting is not a good one. Thank heavens for cell phones. I have to tell you, I don't know what we did before we had cell phones. Yeah, because you got the cell phone, you're waiting, right? So here's a big one for you to know. And I'm telling everybody this, but this is a big one for gold and orange. Because for gold, it didn't come up, but for gold, well, I talked about the cultural stuff, but with non-Egyptians, golds usually are all about being on time. They like to be there early. They like to get there early. They like to have everything organized. They're good to go. They're the people that arrive 10 minutes early, get everything out. They're organized. I'm ready to go at 9 o'clock. The orange will sometimes arrive, about 9 o'clock, 9:01, 9:02, because the orange, on their way to wherever they were going, had to do three things. So, no, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to stop. I'll do this. There. Just know that for the gold, time is really important for most of them. And so if you're going to be late, text them, because it's really important. The other two colors, I don't care. They don't care as much about it, but that's a big one with the orange and gold, especially in relationships. All right. Flexible, adaptable, they are. These are the people that are flexible. They have a breadth of skills. So when I said about the green, they're very competent. They have a depth. They're depth and deep in their skills. Orange can do a little bit of everything, and they'll try anything. They'll like, oh, I'll try that. Oh, I'll try that. Because what did you say about falling down or something? They don't mind falling down. They'll take a risk. They'll risk looking like they don't know what they're doing. They're fine with that. They're okay, unless their second color is green. No. All right, they're entrepreneurial. They don't do well in big organizations. They tend to have their own businesses, that sort of thing. They're competitive. They tend to be competitive. We heard a lot about sports. They're impatient with details, and they're about action, action, action. So that's the orange. Now, in relationships, oh, not a good slide. Orange in relationships. They like sharing activities. They like being part of a team. They like doing things with other people. They like being part of a group. If they're in a relationship, this is where they don't necessarily want to do the same thing every time. You know, we go to the same restaurant because My sister's gold. She goes to the same vacation place every year. They do this, they do that. They have Christmas. It's all like it's all very regimented. So orange, no, that would be boring. We don't want to do it. We've already done it. They're very generous. They can give big gifts. So if a woman is married to an orange, it's a nice thing. They tend to be like, oh, here, jewelry, flowers, there you go. They may forget to say I love you, but they know it and they mean it. Yeah, give her some flowers. Remembrance Day, not Remembrance Day, Valentine's. Remembrance Day is Valentine's Day. They'll come running in at 9 o'clock with the flowers. They like things that are fun. They're optimistic. They're very optimistic. Of the whole group, these are the most optimistic people. The green can be a little pessimistic because they can see the downside on things. They are often the last to commit. Commitment's not a big thing on their part. But once they commit, they're good. They're in. But it may take them a while. If you're a woman and you have an orange man, drag them there. I don't have an orange man. I'm fine. Okay, so all right, let's talk blue. Blue. Who wants to go first? Chris? No? No? Mike? Oh, Michael?
No, just okay, so we're blue. We kind of did a lot of bullet points. The things that bring us joy are platonic relationships, which is being with friends and family. We like gatherings, especially those with free food. We like using small words that induce smiles, so things like compliments or even small gifts or smiling at strangers. And we really enjoy emotional reciprocity, so showing interest in whatever the other person cares about. We feel that our strengths are nurturing and maintaining relationships, being inclusive and making people feel welcome, and especially having a third ear, so hearing the unspoken, so being genuine and sympathetic or empathetic, and really understanding what the other person's talking about. Finally, our quote or song is like the Friends theme song, the whole thing, but especially the part that goes, I'll be there for you, like that whole thing.
Now. All right.
Mary here.
Okay, thank you. So what brings us joy is relationships. So we wrote God, family, friends, animals, service, like humor, sense of humor, nature, and music. The things that are our strengths are empathy, care, easygoing. And our song is Let's Get Together and Feel All Right, One Love, but minus the cannabis.
All right. I have to say, of all the groups, it's usually the blues that sing for me. So here we go. No pressure here, guys. Okay. Doing it? There you go.
Sure. Okay, what brings us joy is music, sleeping, traveling, helping others, nice weather, family, and friends. Things we're good at are planner, organization, on time, honesty, and effective communication. And our two quotes are helping others is the way we help ourselves, and then Heal the World by Michael Jackson. I don't know the song, so I can't sing it.
Thank you. Okay. There are a lot of blues here. Okay. Who's speaking? Oh, you. Okay, here you go. You gonna sing?
No.
No. Okay.
So what brings us joy? Adventure, and we agree with a lot of the other things that were mentioned. What are our strengths? Communication, loyalty, friendship. And the quote that we used was, be somebody who makes everybody feel like a somebody. And our song was You've Got a Friend in Me by Randy Newman.
Randy Newman?
That was the Toy Story song, if anyone didn't know.
Yeah, that's Toy Story, right? I couldn't remember where it was from. Okay, that's good. You've got a friend in me. All right, blue. You know, we leave the blue to last because the blues are the most patient and they're willing to let everybody else talk before they go. So that's why the blues are there. Thank you. Oh, actually, gold. Yeah, it was gold green. All right, here we go. Where's my blue? So color blue, think of the blue sky, water, peaceful. It's, you know, if you want to, bless you. If you want to paint your bedroom, blue is a great color for the bedroom. It's restful, they're peaceful, they're restful. Their core need is right there. It's relationships. They talked a lot about relationships. They are all about relationships. So in the way that the gold is more about community and serving the community, it's about the relationships. And if you remember the picture, everybody was on the phone. They were all kind of talking to each other. They're really about relationships. So they tend to be more women in the population than men. And in the same way that greens tend to be introverted, the blues tend to be extroverted. So if you've got an extroverted blue and an introverted green, it's great because they just talk away and they just... All right, the values. They're authenticity and ethics. They really want you to be authentic with them. It's a really important one. Be who you are with them. For them, it's more than anybody else. Human potential. They are often teachers. They're often people that like to developmental roles. They like to develop people. I always tell people an example of a blue is Oprah Winfrey. She's all about looking after people and giving gifts and talking to people, right? That's her job. Harmony and unity. These people are all about bringing everybody together in a way that's peaceful. And if they're in a group and if they're in a relationship, they will often sacrifice their own happiness to make other people happy. And if you're in a partnership with somebody or in a relationship with somebody, it's one to be careful. If you're with a blue, be careful that they get some of what they need as well. It's not all about you. Cooperation, interaction, they're creative. They tend to be creative. I said they sing. They often do songs for me, the blues. They are the people. So if you're one of the other colors, and I'm looking at you, green and orange, who aren't so good at picking up on clues about how people are feeling and thinking, ask a blue. All right, I had a group, I did this, colors, with a group of analytical quality test scientists at a pharmaceutical company. So you can imagine what they were all like. They were almost all green. I had a couple golds. I had one blue and I had one orange. And the greens all looked at the blue and said, well, what do we need her for? She was the admin assistant. That's what they said. Well, we don't need her. We're scientists. It's like, oh, we did quality tests. I said, oh, okay, who goes and talks to the IT people if your computers go down? Well, she does. Who goes and organizes this for you? Oh, she does. Who tells you? Oh, she does. And who do you go to if you want to know why somebody's mad at you? Oh, I ask her. There you go. You need everybody. So you do need the blues. That's what they're good at. What stresses them out is guilt. Guilt. They feel bad. When I said the golds don't want to be left out, it'll be the blues. It'll be like, oh my goodness, I should have invited you. I'm really sorry. That's what so they're guilty and they will carry the guilt around. They'll do it. It'll bother them more than other people. As I said, some of the other colors have moved on. I feel so sorry last week. I didn't invite that person to the party. And the orange says, oh yeah, but it's okay. It's just gone. We're moved on. We're moving on, right? That's them. Supportive and care, perceptive, persuasive. They're persuasive. They're good influencers. They're good negotiators. Greens are good negotiators because they can see both sides of the arguments, and the blues. They can see different people's point of view. You talked about empathy. They can understand why somebody might be like that, and they can understand. So they're good negotiators. They're charismatic. They are sensitive conflict. Conflict stresses them out. So when the greens are having these wonderful debates about something, the blues will be like, oh, they're arguing. They don't want to debate with you. They just want everything to be peaceful. They're about self-improvement. And they do like praise. Somebody said you like to give praise. They like to get praise. They will give and get praise. In relationships, they're all about harmony. They do believe in true love and falling in love and the wonders of love, and that's, it derives a lot of their relationships. They are romantic. They love. So if you're orange and you want to bring them flowers, they are very happy with that. They love that sort of thing. They tend to be the affectionate people in the group. And I can usually tell a blue if I'm talking to somebody or something and they touch my arm or they give me a hug or they're whatever, they tend to be a little more about touch. There's a little bit more. And if you're in a relationship, they tend to like a hug more. Some of the other colors are not so much about that. They're very spontaneous about that. But they are the true romantics, and they're the words warmth and empathy. They are warm people. Tend to be warm. And one of the things that often happens between the colors with the blues and the oranges and the greens more than the golds is that sometimes, like I said, they're sort of in their head. They're not giving you the hello, how are you? Did you have a good day? They're sort of moving on with whatever they're thinking about. They need to be greeted. You need to say hello to them. You need to ask them how they are, ask about their mother. That's what they're all about. Because they will ask you. They will remember everybody in your family. How's your dog? They'll know all that. They are the people to blue. So that's the blues. Okay, I'm almost on time, and I'm happy to be here with my Egyptian group who don't care about time. So the next thing I want to tell you about is, so personality dimensions. What I want to say about this is the test you've done, the assessment you've done, is really a short assessment. There is a much more fulsome assessment we do. I think you can do it online. They charge, as I said, sums of money to do it and all that. You can do all this all online, and if you're interested, you can go look at True Colors or Personality Dimensions. Google that. What I'm going to teach you about now is extroversion and introversion, and the reason I'm doing this is because it's a key one and it's not in the colors. So we add it in. There are, again, tests online if you're curious about where you are. People always have big discussions about me. No, I'm not an extrovert. Really, I'm an introvert. And I go, okay, do the online test. We're on a scale. So somebody may be extrovert and you may be extrovert, and they may talk way more than you do. You may be both extroverts, it's a strength thing, right? So it's not about who talks out loud. It's not about who speaks up. It's not about shyness. It's about where you get your energy. And extroverts get their energy from big groups. Introverts get their energy from themselves. So if an introvert is tired, they will go into a room and turn out the lights and just have quiet time. If an extrovert's tired and they need energy, they will often go out. Okay, I'm going to go out and see somebody and talk to somebody. It's also about how we do some of our thought processes. So the extroverts will talk it through with you. I've got an idea, can I talk it through with you? Blah, 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 and you blah, 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 and you talk it. An introvert will be thinking it through in their head. And they tend to process it more in their head before they speak it. Okay? So if somebody's not talking as much and you're talking away and they're not talking as much, it may be that they're shy, but it also may be that they're an introvert. And when they do speak, they'll probably tell you some wonderful thing that they've been thinking about while you've been talking, but just know that's the difference. Extroverts will go out, as I said, and be with groups of people. Introverts tend to be, they're happy in smaller groups. Extroverts tend to have like 70 different friends. Introverts will have 3 really good friends. And I'm not saying extroverts don't have good friends, but they don't. So it is a stressor sometimes in relationships. If you're a strong extrovert and someone's a strong introvert, it's like, oh, what do we do on a Friday night? Do we have a quiet night in just two of us for dinner? Or do we go to somebody's 30th birthday party where there's going to be 100 people, it's going to be loud and la la la. Okay? But a lot of it, it's about your energy, where you get your energy. Okay? Does that make sense? So the people that are introverts, in North American society, we tend to favor extroverts. We tend to, people in schools, the school system, the university system, tends to favor people who are extroverts. They did a study, Harvard Business School every year does team, because they're all about teams. They did this team assignment, and it's all about how the power of the team, blah, blah, blah. And they had an introvert on one of the teams, and usually what happens is the team score is higher than the individual score. It's the only time that the individual had a higher score than the team. And they said to the team, you had this guy on your team who scored 100% on his own, and when he got into the team and had to negotiate with the rest of the people, you got a lower score. And how did that happen? Because the extroverts did all the talking and the introvert didn't get a chance to speak. And he had things to say. So all I would say is just be careful about this one. It is one to watch. I don't tell people whether you're better extroverts and extroverts together, two introverts. I did a marriage class here once, and I had two introverts, and they were very happy with each other, and they had a very quiet time at home, and they did everything, so it worked out really well. But both things are well. And what I would say with this one as well is it is all about self-awareness. It's about who you are, what you're like, what you're good at, what your strengths are, and then understanding the other person and valuing their differences. And I got to tell you, there are times when being different is just the best thing. Because there are things you don't want to do that they will do for you. And there's times that they don't want to do and you'll do for them. So it's good to have differences, all right? Now, I will quickly go through the last 4 slides, which is about building relationships, and then I'm done. And I can answer questions if you want, or you can go get food or whatever you want. Okay. Greens. Recognize their need for independence. If you're dating a green, or you're seeing a green, or you're married, or in a relationship with a green, know that they need their time to think. Give them time to think. Warn them you're going to talk about something. So on Monday, say, we've got to make a decision if we're going to go to my family's party on Friday night. Tell them Monday. Then remind them on Tuesday. By Thursday, you can say, so have we come to a decision? And they may say, okay, I've been thinking about it. Here are my questions, right? But warn them, don't say to them on Thursday, are we going tomorrow night? Because they don't know. No. Give them time to think. Understand that sometimes they don't come across as romantic, but they can and they will, and what they do is different. Sometimes greens will be a little inquisitive and they really want to ask a lot of questions, and some people go, well, why are you asking me all these questions? Stop interrogating me. Know that they just need to know, all right? Help them with day-to-day details. Sometimes they forget things. So again, it's my family dinner on Friday night. I'm going to tell him 2 weeks in advance. I'm going to email him. I'm going to put it in his calendar, and we're good. Details, remind them. Goals. Respect and care about their need for security. It's really important that they feel secure in what they are and where they are. Financial security is a huge one for golds. They're the ones, as I said, my sister's a gold. She had her mortgage paid off at the age of 39. Bang, bang, bang. It was all about security and being good. Praise them for their responsible. Acknowledge that what they do is they take care of everybody. They are the caretakers. So they're great. Understand that when you're with a gold, their families and traditions are really important to them. It may not mean a lot to you, but it's important to them. So you need to remember that. And remember the anniversaries, the first dates, all the things. They're the ones that's important. Orange, value their playfulness. They are a lot of fun. They're very spontaneous. Recognize that sometimes they're just going to go off and do their thing, and you got to let them go. They will come back. Right? And they'll have some fun story to tell you about what they did. Help them to sometimes remember you need to think things through before we act in a relationship. Before you buy that sports car, we might want to talk to the bank, So that's just one of those things. If you're not an orange and you're married to an orange, it's a good one. Especially if you're gold. I got my shopping list. Here's the flyer. Don't just go buy it at the expense of Whole Foods. All right. Remember they're generous and reinforce some optimism. It's really important. Optimism's great. Blues. Be romantic with the blues. They love it. Have talks. Have conversations. Ask them how their day was. Ask them what's going on with them. They really want to tell you. Right? It's important. Recognize that they do want to look after people. Recognize that they do like to have that touch, and they do like to have a hug. They're the huggers. Be open and responsive and say thank you to them. And if it's not your natural tendency to tell them you love them, just remember every once in a while, they like to hear it. And they know, but just tell them anyway. Okay? All right. That's it. Any questions? Yes? The disc. Okay, yeah. They're different. So the disc is different. The disc is more related to how you are in work. And it is more, it overlaps. There are for sure overlaps. It's almost all of these types, the disc, the insights, they're all sort of, they go back to the Jungian psychology. So they are sort of related. And what I can do is I can actually go through them and line them up and figure it out. So they do overlap. Yeah, there are overlaps for sure. Yeah, and it is the underlying. The Myers, they tend to, you can link them almost all up to Myers-Briggs, the 4 letters. But yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you can. And so as I said, in the school system, we tend to reward extroverts. So people who are introverts and at work, we tend to reward extroverts at work because they speak up, they'll go, they know everything, and la la la, here they are in meetings and things like that. So we tend to reward, introverts can work really hard at speaking up, or they can just be good speakers. People always assume the work I do, because I do the work I do, that I'm an extrovert, but there are people like me who are introverts. They do this work, we can stand in front of 100 people, we can talk, but they go home and they're really tired. It zaps their energy. So you can learn to be what you need to be. Where you are your happiest is where is your introvert extrovert. But we often do, and I told somebody about the colors, that in the school system as well, we tend to reward golds. Not as much now, but when I was at school, golds and more the greens, and sometimes the blues. The orange had a harder time in school because it is about following the rules and all of that and everything. I'm just saying, I'm not saying they don't do well. They do very well. They do very well. But it is a harder time, and sometimes they have to learn to be like golds to do well. Yes? Yes. Yeah, so it does shift, and I tell people that if you're an orange or a green and a blue, and organization may not be your key thing, when you have 2 or 3 children, you learn to be like the golds, because you need to be organized, you have to be organized. If you're in a work setting where it's expected that you have to do certain things, you can learn. As I said, you have all these colors, they just come up when you need them at different times. Okay, yeah? So everybody tends to like people that are like them. So the blues love each other. The blues are like, we tend to be, and you know what? The blues tend to find themselves as well. Greens don't always get along because they can debate. Golds don't always get along with golds because they're very black and white. And if you have a gold, say you have a gold Republican and a gold Democrat in the United States, they can argue till the cows come home and they're never going to get along. So it depends. I would say the blue tend to get along with everybody. The blue have the hardest time with the green and oranges. The blue and golds tend to get along well. The orange and the green, it just, you know what it is? It's really about finding the right person, understanding their strengths, and sharing with each other and communicating. So I'm not going to say, I had one woman got really upset. She thought she'd been married. She had 2 kids. She said to me, I think I married the wrong color. And I'm like, no. I was like, no, go home and talk to him. No. So no. Was there a question back there? Okay. Yes. So more recently, and for those of you who are introverts, I always tell people this, and usually somebody writes it down, and I've had very good feedback on this one from the introverts in my groups. There's a wonderful book for anybody who's an introvert and you struggle with it or you just want to understand it more. There's a book called Quiet. It's called Quiet. Yes, it's called Quiet. It's written by a woman who's a lawyer, and she's an introvert. And she talks about her struggles in an extroverted, male-dominated legal world. But anyway, she talks about introverts. She talks about parents who are extroverted, have introverted children. She talks about being in relationships. So if anybody wants to learn more about introversion, Quiet is the book. Yes, there's something called an ambivert, which is sort of in the middle, which means you can flip back and forth. And in some ways, you're very extroverted, and some you're more introverted. If you are out there having big conversations with your 3 best friends, you can still be introverted. You're just having a great conversation, right? It's not that introverts don't, it's not that they don't talk. They can talk. They don't tend to enjoy talking to groups of 6 or 7. They don't want to go to a cocktail party and talk to a bunch of strangers. That's a nightmare for them. Extroverts love that. All right, anything else? Any question? No, I'm not going to tell you about the complementary colors. No, I'm not going to do that. Someone suggested I do some sort of dating system, but I'm not going to do that. Oh, yeah, you know what? So I asked some of the golds if blue was their second color. Blue and gold are often very close, right? So those colors, orange and green and no, it doesn't matter. Whatever your second color is, I can usually tell somebody's first and second color. I can usually pick your first color, and then I can watch, if I know you well, I can pick out your second color. And depending on where you are, like if you're a gold, and you're in a wonderful place and everything's organized and you got your lists and you're doing really well and your happy place is a gold and your second color is orange, you may go do something really wild and have a great time with it because your first color is happy and satisfied. Then okay, hold on, yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Yes. And it is probably the introvert extrovert thing, and it is where you are happiest. When you do this, it's where you're at when you're at your happiest. If you're in your happy place and everything's going well in your world, you're with your two best friends, you're with your buddies of 20 people or whatever you are, that's what it is. And this test is a very basic test. The online one is much more scientific. Sorry, yeah, back there. Yeah, often they don't understand each other. I think that's one of the big things. Often people don't understand each other. And you don't understand why somebody, so I'm going to go back to the blues and empathy. Because empathy is a huge thing these days. And I do a lot of work with groups on empathy. And empathy, often if there's conflict, it's about understanding their perspective. So if you don't know, and this is where about the communication, if you're, I don't know, you're on a first date with somebody, and you think, well, I'm not quite getting them, I'm not quite understanding. Ask them questions to try to figure out what it is. Ask them what motivates them. Ask them what brings them joy, and then sort of think about it more. But what we often think is whatever makes me happy makes everybody happy, and it's not. So it is about just understanding the other person. So there are big differences in some of the colors on some of the things, but it is about, and you'll find commonalities with anybody, because you have all the colors, right? So at the end of the day, it may be that an orange loves adventure and running around, but they love dogs. And they found a blue person, they love their dogs. There we go, there's something in common. Did you say that? Yeah, they like dogs, yeah. They like running with dogs. They like taking dogs to training school. They like running with dogs. They want to analyze the breed, and these people just like a fluffy dog to hug. I always say to everybody, you all do the same thing, you do it for different reasons. I will finish with a story about playing golf. I played golf with 4 of my male friends. I don't know how we ended up with 5. Somebody won something, we played golf. One's a gold, one's a green, one's an orange, and one's a blue. And here's how we played golf, all right? So there's the green guy who took forever to pick out his club and analyze the shot and which shot and do it, and he was measuring it, and he had all his gadgets, and he was doing all that. He loves golf. Then I've got my gold, who's keeping score of everything and marking out, and you can't hit that again. Then I have my orange friend, who's literally picking up the ball. Oh, I didn't like that one. I'm going to throw it again. He's having fun, and the orange guy's in the cart driving. We're going to drive the cart. And then I have the blue who's walking along saying, are you okay? Are you having fun? I brought snacks, okay? So they all play golf, and they all love golf. They play it for different reasons. So understand that. If you're dating someone, they may enjoy movies with you, but they may just enjoy it for a different reason. Okay? I'm going to leave you now. I will slowly go away. If anybody wants to ask questions, I'm not in any hurry, so I can hang around for a bit. All right?